Let's take a look at the dying American nation and how we've been absolutely subverted by communist ideology that is making us question our very humanity, the laws of nature and physics that we think don't apply to us, and the ruination of the lives of young people by this woke ideology that is so pervasive today that is affecting the minds of parents.
Okay, so first of all, I will say that the process, the journey is ongoing and probably will be for potentially her entire life. But here's how it started. So
Her
she
entire
was
life.
designated, assigned, observed male at birth. And
Sex is never assigned at birth, it is merely observed.
until about 18 months, didn't really, know too much, just kind of was raising two kids, working full time, not really paying attention to what was going on. And at around 18 months she started showing signs of like really being interested in things that her sister had and had in her closet, and wanting to play dress up and wanting to put on lip gloss. And when she would see fingernails, she would want her fingernails painted too. And we thought it was cute.
Yeah. Do you think that that could have anything to do with the fact that she has again, I'm getting confused by the gender. Do you think that that has anything to do with the fact that it is an older sibling that they're trying to imitate, that they think is really cool? I don't know. I have three kids and I've definitely seen it. So, yes, to that, the answer is a definitive yes.
No issue. We had no issue with, her wanting to do those kinds of things. And then around the age of 2, things started to progress at a quicker pace. And so each time that we would go to pick her up from preschool,
Her.
she was fully outfitted in dresses and jewelry. And so I will say I was super stoked that we had such a wonderful childcare center that she was in, because she was allowed to, experiment with.
She was allowed to experiment, or was she encouraged to do so by an evil childcare center that has been taken over by this communist ideology, woke ideology that is destroying America? Simple question.
Her gender and play dress up and do those kinds of things and have access to them. So when I would go to pick her up from preschool, like I said, she would be dripping in, just jewelry and clicky shoes and all kinds of stuff. And getting her to take that off to go home was usually a pretty gnarly struggle. And then around the age of 4, she started wanting to wear like leggings and headbands. She had this one headband she was completely attached
Again,
to
this
that
is a little
she felt.
boy that she's
I
talking
look
about.
back on it now and think to myself, gosh, I wonder when she put that headband on, she thought to herself, people see me for who I am. No one's going to misgender me now. And so it progressed. It just kept moving in that direction with more and more things that started showing more and more signs. She would say, when I wake up tomorrow, I'll be a girl. And we were kind of like, oh, okay, yeah.
My son told me a week ago that he was a dinosaur and he absolutely insisted on it. When I wake up tomorrow, I'll be a dinosaur. Hey, great. Why don't you go up onto the roof and jump off? And if you fly, then you'll be a pterodactyl. Wouldn't that be great? You go ahead and experiment. No, a parent's job is to lead their child, to tell them what's what. If a child decides, hey, I want to stick my finger in a light socket, you as the parent are obliged to prevent him from hurting himself, and thus you pull him away. You don't allow the child to lead you and to dictate what is reality. That's just horrendous parenting in a zero gravity environment, apparently.
And my husband and I would be like, we gotta figure this thing out. And so kind of for that final test, my husband decided, you know what, we're gonna figure this thing out. We're gonna tap into this and see what happens. So he said, I'm gonna coach a t-ball team and I want her to be on it. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. Well, that didn't go over so well. She not only hated t-ball, she hated the.
Yes, because the ultimate test as to whether or not you're trans is whether or not you enjoy playing sports and t-ball. Could this just be a sissy gay child? Do you really want to ruin his opportunity to maybe procreate, to lead a fulfilling life at the age of 2, 4? Confuse this child, as so many other countless numbers of kids are currently being in America? I don't think this is going to end well for anybody, unfortunately.
uniform. She hated the hat. We found everything in the trash multiple times. You couldn't get her out the door to go play on Saturday mornings. And so eventually I thought at one point, well, okay, well, what if I let you wear your leggings and a tank top underneath? And we can, as soon as the game's over, you can take your uniform off. And she was like, okay. So she wore the headband. She didn't wear the hat. She wore the headband. She wore the clothes underneath her uniform. And she would go to the game and she would stand there. And as soon as it was like, game over, she would rip those clothes, that uniform off and stand and proud in her tank top and her leggings. And very shortly after that, she told us she was a girl. And we believe her.
Right. You believe her despite the fact that it goes against biological reality, because you'll believe anything, including this woke ideology, guaranteed that this is a Black Lives Matter supporter, despite the fact that Black Lives Matter obviously robbed people of many funds and does no good in the Black community, only for their own pocketbook. So you go ahead and you get your social media likes and praise from all of the other woke cultists, and you have cemented yourself further into the cult while destroying the life of your child. And I find this incredibly sad, and my heart goes out to this youngster who has parents that would allow them to behave in such a manner, because there comes a time, as I said previously, where as a parent, you simply must lead and tell your child what's what, and not take their nonsense and not allow them to jump off the roof to test whether or not they're a pterodactyl dinosaur, to see whether or not they can fly. Because yes, you can go ahead and believe them and allow the destruction of your child, which you no doubt are applauding along as the progressive parent. And this is the destruction of America by China, by Russia. As Yuri Bezmenov said in his 1983 speech, the method of subversion of America would take 15, 20 years and maybe a little bit longer. Well, congratulations to Yuri, to the KGB, to Russia, because right now you guys are on the winning path, and it's thanks to parents such as this that are willing to sacrifice their own child for social media points.